Exprimez-vous. Pensez par vous-même. Créez. Partagez. Diffusez librement et surtout ne vous taisez jamais. Lorsque nous sommes ensemble, ils ne sont rien. Le savoir est libre. Nous sommes Anonymous. Nous sommes Légion. Nous ne pardonnons pas. Nous n'oublions pas.
Greetings world. We are Anonymous. When retired FBI agent, the now deceased Ted Gunderson, reportedly told a gathering of militia members that the federal government had set up 1,000 internment camps across the country, I had no trouble believing his statement, because there is ample documentation to support his statement. Example, Rex 84, Operation Garden Plot, and now the NDAA. However, when Gunderson reported that the federal government was storing over 500,000 caskets outside of Atlanta, I also knew he was accurate on this point, because Sherry Wilcox found the evidence in this photo. However, when I heard that Gunderson was accusing the government of storing 30,000 guillotines, I thought he had lost his mind. Why would the government want to store guillotines? Gunderson told various patriot groups that the guillotines were being stored for the day that the government declares martial law and moves in to round up and execute American dissenters. Gunderson prophetically told patriot groups that the federal government was going to keep track of all of us. The last statement has indeed proven accurate given the recent Snowden/NSA scandal. Can somebody please explain to me why the government would need to order 30,000 guillotines? For what legitimate purpose could these tools of execution be utilized? The guillotine was invented by a Frenchman named Dr. Guillotine. The guillotine reached the height of its popularity when it was mainly used in the French Revolution to eliminate any potential opposition from people with dangerous ideas. The guillotine has never been used inside of the United States. The United States has executed people by firing squat, hanging, the electric chair, and lethal injection. The US has never executed a convicted criminal through the use of a guillotine. Given these facts, then why in God's good name would this government import 30,000 guillotines as Gunderson claimed? Oh, I know that some of the sheep are now looking up from the ground, and have just said there aren't any guillotines in the United States. Then please tell me, sheep of America, why did Representative Doug Tepper of the Georgia Legislative Assembly introduce a bill which will supplement the method of execution, the electric chair with the guillotine? Have you ever heard the allegations which accuse some doctors, primarily in China, of killing patients in order to sell their organs on the black market? After you read the following paragraphs, you may conclude that those rumors are true. When Representative Tepper was asked about his motivation to exclusively use the guillotine to execute death row inmates, he said, it would allow for death row inmates as organ donors. The very spooky Tepper for the reason that the blade makes a clean cut and leaves vital organs intact. I will be happy to let this statement speak for itself. Below is a draft of the legislation. HB 1274. Death penalty, guillotine provisions. Section 1. The General Assembly finds that while prisoners condemned to death may wish to donate one or more of their organs for transplant, any such desire is thwarted by the fact that electrocution makes all such organs unsuitable for transplant. The intent of the General Assembly in enacting this legislation is to provide for a method of execution which is compatible with the donation of organs by a condemned prisoner. Section 2. Article 2 of Chapter 10 of Title 17 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated, relating to the death penalty generally, is amended by striking in its entirety Code Section 17-10-38, relating to death sentences generally, and inserting in lieu thereof the following. 17-10-38. A. All persons who have been convicted of a capital offense and have had imposed upon them a sentence of death shall, at the election of the condemned, suffer such punishment, either by electrocution or by guillotine. If the condemned fails to make an election by the 30th day preceding the date scheduled for execution, punishment shall be by electrocution. B. In all cases in which the defendant is sentenced to be electrocuted executed, it shall be the duty of the trial judge in passing sentence to direct that the defendant be delivered to the Department of Corrections for electrocution execution at a state correctional institution designated by the department. Section 3. Said article is further amended by striking in its entirety Code Section 17-10-44, relating to death chamber apparatus and related matters, and inserting in lieu thereof the following. 17-10-44. The Department of Corrections shall provide a death chamber, and all necessary apparatus, machinery, and appliances for inflicting the penalty of death by electrocution, or by guillotine. Where would the proposed Georgia legislature guillotines have come from? Unless Gunderson was correct in that 15,000 are being stored in Montana, and 15,000 are being stored in Georgia. Has anyone bothered to do the math? A single guillotine reportedly can chop off the heads of about 100 people per hour. In 1 hour, the federal government has the capacity to execute as many as 3 million people. In one 10-hour day, 30 million people could be executed by way of a guillotine. We already know that the Department of Homeland Security has purchased 2.2 billion rounds of ammunition to go with their purchase of 2,700 armored personnel carriers. Do you realize that this is enough ammo to fight a war for about 7 years, and that there are enough DHS personnel carriers to allocate over 50 per state? Can you imagine if they were concentrated in their distribution patterns? This would be the equivalent of an invading army as DHS goes from house to house and seizes dissidents by the millions, and America will soon have their own version of the French Revolution. Since this story broke, one have to ask the question: why guillotines? Some sources stated that the next phase of the transhumanism experiments and developments requires a severed human head to facilitate the mixing of humans and animals into one sentient being. Further, futuristic DARPA robots will have human heads after the initial purge and subsequent executions. This makes sense because after the head is severed, the eyes blink and signs of life continue for up to a minute. This would allow a team to freeze and to preserve the head for whatever purpose. And just as frightening, I was told that some of satanic rituals require severed human heads, and we know the global elite, in large part, are indeed Satanists. I can understand people being skeptical about the guillotines because my first reaction was to reject the notion, under my personal veil of cognitive dissonance. Yet, the emerging facts speak for themselves. Although we did not know Gunderson personally, we did know Bill Pawelak, and we was well acquainted with Griffith. And even if Pawelak and Griffith were jointly mistaken on this issue, how would one explain away DEPR's efforts to introduce the guillotine into the Georgia justice system? The endgame implications are frightening. When we add the topic of guillotines to what we already know about 2.2 billion rounds of DHS ammo and 2,700 armored DHS personnel carriers, why should this be so hard to believe? How can't take the fact that DHS has armed to the teeth against Americans and are planning to murder Americans in horrific ways? Be prepared to be shocked as you watch the following chilling report on the possession and intent of the military with regard to the use of guillotines. The $64 million question is: who is the government planning to use these guillotines on? We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.